الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم من ذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا فيضاعفه له أضعافا كثيرة والله يقبض ويبسط وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Continuing from yesterday, after telling the story of people dying and then people coming back to life by the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then commanding Muslims to take part fully in qital fi sabilillah, in fighting in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is today in this ayah. The Quran is talking about another very important aspect of Islamic life, which is to spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this here in this particular context, in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is particularly talking about infaq fi sabilillah, in the way of qital, in the way of jihad. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, man dalladhi, man is who. Basically, literal meaning is man. Whenever man is who. Sometimes we use who in form of a question. Sometimes we use the word who by referring to someone as a pronoun, that he is the one who did it. So man is more or less the same uses for man in Arabic. Man dhalladhi yuqridu Allah qardan hasana. Qard, we all understand, qard is to give loan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking, who is the one who would give qarz or loan? Yuqridu Allah. Qarz to who? Qarz to Allah. Who will give loan to Allah? Qardan hasana. And a debt that is good, a loan that is good. So hasana basically means a loan that is given with full purity of intention, with full ikhlas. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking, who is the one who is going to give us loan? So it's a very beautiful way of saying, of course, our wealth and all of us in entirety, we belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as a way of encouraging Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that if you spend in my path, if you spend on jihad, if you spend on each other, it is as if you are giving me a debt, you are giving me a loan. And then what will happen? فَيُضَاعِفَهُ لَهُ أَضْعَافًا كَثِيرًا. Who will give loan to Allah so that Allah will multiply it for them many times. So not only that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you give me a qarz, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He will return that qarz, that loan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will return it after multiplying it many times. In the hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that if somebody even spends a small piece of date in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases it more than the size of the Mount Uhud. And the meaning of giving qarz, one fine point that Hazrat have mentioned here in Mufassirin, is that qarz is something that the giver knows for sure that it will be returned, and the one who's taking it, they have a moral responsibility and a well understood thing that will be for sure returned. So similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that if you spend in my path, rest assured that it will definitely be returned. And one meaning of this ayah is that giving qarz to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is also giving qarz to the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to our fellow brothers. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that if somebody gives somebody a loan at the time of need, they are given the reward of making sadaqah twice that amount that they are giving as a loan. So giving your Muslim brother a loan when he needs it, when they need it, that carries a lot of reward as well. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Wallahu yaqbidu wa yabsut. It is Allah who decreases things or withholds things. Qabz or qabza is to withhold, is to hold something with you. So Wallahu yaqbidu wa yabsut. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who decides whose rizq, whose provision will be withheld by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whose provision, whose money, whose wealth will be increased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ, and whatever you do and wherever you do and however you do, everything is going to finally return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You, your wealth, whatever you do, whatever you spend, that is going to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then you will see, then you will know, Hazrat Mufassirin have written that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, that then you will know that what was the reward, what was the real reward of spending in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what was the real punishment of not spending in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it has been made obligatory. So the obligatory giving is zakah, sadaqatul fitr, those kind of things. Or one obligatory manner apart, one obligatory requirement of paying in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, apart from zakah, the sadaqatul fitr, is that when Muslims are fighting, when there is a war going on, and the Muslims who are fighting, they need money for their provisions, then at that time Muslims have to bring up their stuff and provide for that army, for that Muslim army. That is apart from zakat and other obligatory giving. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the people who spend excessively in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always comes back to us multiple times. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil mursaleen. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه.